Good afternoon, sports fans. It is March the 1st of 2019. It is National Let's Everybody Have an Opinion on Bryce Harper signing with the Philadelphia Phillies Day. Here at the Sports Take with Mike the Squid, we're going to join in on the fun. I have about 40 minutes till I have to be to work, so why not talk about Bryce Harper some more? Also on this episode, I'll discuss a little bit about Manny Machado's future in San Diego, what it has to do with what's going to happen with Mike Trout and Mookie Betts, and why Bryce Harper may have actually been worth more money than he got paid. Find out more on why my opinions matter, because I am the Squid. And this is the Sports Take with Mike the Squid on the Earnestly Speaking Podcast Network. Welcome in, everybody. It is March 1st, 2019. Spring training baseball is live. It is the greatest time of the year. Baseball season is back, ladies and gentlemen, and Bryce Harper is a Philadelphia Philly. Wait, what? He's a Philly? Yep. Yesterday, 13 years, $330 million. Bryce Harper is a member of the Philadelphia Phillies. Their offseason acquisitions also include Andrew McCutchen and acquiring JT Realmuto from the Miami Marlins. So, 13,330. It's a number that's going to be talked about all offseason. Let's backtrack in my opinion on the things. And I want everyone to understand that these are my opinions. I do not have a source on this. I do not have any kind of insider knowledge. I'm speaking to you as a fan of the game. Scott Boras told Bryce Harper at the All-Star break whenever he did not get traded, you're worth $350 to $400 million. I'm not disagreeing with that. Everybody else might, but not I. And I'll go into the detail about that in a few minutes. Washington comes to Bryce and says, here's 10 for $300, pre-signing Patrick Corbin. Boras probably tells him something along the lines of, okay, that's a great offer. It's a good starting point. We'll negotiate something with you guys before we sign anywhere else. Or if you think you can come up with more money, it might help the situation. Washington management sat firm. I'll go into detail on why I think that was a good thing for them, also in a little while. So, Boras takes those numbers, starts selling them to other teams. San Francisco, the Dodgers, the Phillies, White Sox, all kinds of other franchises. That says, Washington has this offer on the table right now, can you beat it? Some teams probably said yes. Some teams probably said no. But the no's probably came around a little bit sooner rather than later, before eventually saying we can go 10-300 or 11 for 330 or whatever the numbers were that were proposed. The Dodgers are an interesting thought process. Sources are saying they came in at an annual market value of $45 million a year over 4 years. Bryce decided that he didn't want to have a short-term deal, which, to anyone that's saying that Bryce Harper is money hungry, this is the exact opposite of a money hungry deal. 13 years. That's the rest of his career. $330 million. When you know that number is going to get smashed by guys like Mookie Betts, Francisco Lindor, Mike Trout. Is he really that money hungry? Or is it disgruntled National fans that he's staying in the division and he's going to their arch rival Philadelphia Phillies? That's what I think it is. Because at the end of the day, Bryce Harper did what no one else would do. There's no opt-out. There's no, I don't want to be a Philly after 5 years. Or 8. Or 10. He's wearing red and white for probably the rest of his career, unless he gets traded. And let's talk about that thought process. Think about it. 5 years from now, the Phillies decide they want to rebuild. Does $27 million a year for Bryce Harper sound bad? Doesn't to me. Won't to any Yankee fan. Sure as hell won't to a Cubs fan. Why the hell not? If he's not doing well, or Phillies decide to pull the plug on this and decide to rebuild because of Aaron Nola not re-signing, or Jared Eflin, or Eichenhoff, or Arrieta retiring, or Realmuto not re-signing with the organization, and they decide to go full rebuild mode, Bryce Harper's contract's a lot more team-friendly than anybody's thinking about right now. I'm not saying that he ever leaves Philadelphia, but if the rebuild does have to happen, he's got a very movable contract in the next 5 years. Now, back to the Scott Boras effect. Washington signs Patrick Corbin. They are not going to spend $1 over $300 million. Can't blame them. They gave him that offer. They said, this is our offer. There will be no other offers. And most people, seeing how it would have been, quote, more money to stay in Washington, he should have went back to Washington. The problem is, in Washington, what has he been unable to do? Win. Hasn't been able to get it done. Is it him? Maybe. Is it the pitching staff? Possibly. Is it the lack of a bullpen? Abso-fucking-lutely. You want to spend $300 million to keep Bryce Harper in his Nationals jersey, but you didn't want to do anything to fix other issues. You didn't want to sign Anthony Rendon to a long-term contract. You didn't want to lock up Trey Turner. There are bigger fishes to fry if you're a Nationals fan right now. You're still a perennial playoff team. You're still one of the two favorites in that division every year because of your pitching staff. You're okay. You guys saw what Juan Soto did last year. Say hello to your new right fielder. See if he breaks spring training with you guys. Say hello to Victor Robles, the number 3 prospect in baseball. One of the fastest kids in baseball. Going to bring a whole new dynamic to your organization. Stop pressing the panic button because Bryce Harper's playing in Philadelphia. That's a clown question, bro. You guys are just fine. Now, Boris may have costed Bryce Harper $50 to $70 million on this contract. Now, I know what you're thinking to yourself is, damn, Mike, $380 to $400 million? Is that what you really think Bryce Harper's worth? Over 13 years, you're goddamn right I do. You want to know why? Because Bryce Harper is what Mike Trout should be. The face of Major League Baseball. You walk into a sporting goods store and you see Under Armour baseball. Right next to it, big old cardboard cutout of Bryce Harper. You may or may not play video games like myself. The newest version of MLB The Show. Cover boy, you betcha, Bryce Harper, wearing a Phillies jersey. Now that Bryce Harper is on the Phillies, teams are going to see a rush of ticket sales for Phillies games. Not because their fan base travels well, but because fans that you can't get to go to your stadium are now going to go to your stadium to see Bryce Harper. The fact of the matter is, Bryce Harper does not shy away from criticism or questions. He talks to the media. He tells them that he thinks they're stupid. He is Bryce Harper. He does what he does, and he does not care. Think about it from this standpoint. If Bryce Harper stays throughout the entire 13 years of his contract, how many more prime time games do you think the Philadelphia Phillies are going to get on ESPN, which doesn't even respect baseball anymore, but ESPN and MLB Network? 5 to 7 a season? So you're looking at anywhere from 75 plus extra games on primetime television, which you know they get an extra kickback of. Hashtag money. The Phillies get a added revenue share from every organization in baseball. All those teams are going to have Bryce Harper coming into their stadium. They're going to fucking sell tickets to those games. More money. Playoff runs. This team is a team that if they make the playoffs half of the years that Bryce Harper's in a Phillies jersey, so if they make it 6 to 7 times, the additional ticket sales money that they're going to see come in from that, and t-shirt revenue from winning the division, and possibly winning the National League and the World Series, all that additional revenue, Bryce Harper's contract's going to be paid for if they win one World Series. From the additional revenue of playoff tickets and t-shirt sales and jersey sales that he gets a cut of. I mean, let's be real here. To say that Bryce Harper, the quote, face of Major League Baseball, isn't worth $400 million, you're insane. His sponsors are going to pay the Phillies oodles and noodles of money for them to film new commercials with him in Phillies gear, or to be at Citizens Bank Ballpark to film commercials. The Phillies have just turned themselves into an investment genius because they were willing to have stability. They were willing to give Bryce Harper 13 years and $330 million with no opt-out. That must tell you that Bryce believes in Philadelphia. And to me, that makes it even scarier. Bryce Harper being labeled as a money-hungry individual, you're sadly mistaken. This contract to me is Bryce wants to get back to playing baseball. Bryce wants to go back to doing what he loves, which is playing a kid's game. He took the stability. He took the $330 million. There is no free agency. There is no leaving. There is no, I want more money. There is no more any of it. Bryce Harper is going to be a baseball player. He's going to be a really good baseball player. He's going to go back to what he loves. And I'm excited to see what Bryce Harper does when he can just be a baseball player and not a walking contract negotiation. It's intriguing. Phillies are the favorite to go to win the NL East this year now. Sorry, Washington. Sorry, Atlanta. They got that left-handed bat that they need to pair with Rhys Hoskins and Andrew McCutchen and Gene Segura and JT Realmuto and, you know, the rest of the power they have in that lineup. I mean, the fact of the matter is this Phillies team is 10 wins better than they were last year. Easy. And that's without them making an improvement to the pitching staff. Hey, don't worry. There's still a guy out there named Dallas Keuchel that they could give you a 2-year contract to, and they could be the number 2 starter. I don't know if it happens. I think they're kind of broke right now. But who knows? None of us do. That's the fun thing about being an armchair GM. You can make these things work in your head. Bryce Harper to the Phillies. Done. Face of baseball. Done. Face of Philadelphia. Probably. I know you're shocked by that. Carson Wentz isn't the face of the Philadelphia Eagles. It was Nick Foles until they let him fucking walk in free agency. Because Nick Foles won them a title. Carson Wentz has been hurt too much. Is Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid of the 76ers, who haven't won a damn thing, that have been a catchy tagline, trust the process? Trust what process? The process hasn't gotten them anywhere. No titles appearances, no Eastern Conference Finals. What's the process gotten them? Ben Simmons can't shoot a jumper. Trust the process? None of those guys are the face of Philadelphia sports. The Flyers had one in Wayne Simmons. He would be a free agent at the end of the year, so what did they do? Shipped him off to Nashville. Bryce Harper is the face of Philadelphia sports, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? If you don't think so, you're a clown. Now, let me get back to the Washington organization here. You are the GM and the owner of the Washington Nationals. Bryce Harper's been your guy. You drafted him, you groomed him, you brought him up, you let him, be the face of your franchise. The hardest decision in the world that you can do is let Bryce walk. The second hardest thing you can do is know that he's going to a division rival. You see how I switched those? Because it doesn't matter where Bryce went. It was going to hurt no matter what, because he was their guy. The fact of the matter is, Bryce could have went to LA, San Francisco, Miami, Boston, New York. It didn't matter. It was going to hurt no matter what. But the fact that he went to your division rival doesn't make it hurt more. It annoys you. It's that gnat. It's that bee sting. It's that, God damn it, why don't you leave me the fuck alone? Because not only do you now get to know that he's not going to wear Nationals red, white, and blue anymore, but then you're going to see him 26 times a year for the next 13 seasons in another uniform. How does that really deep down, you think, make National fans feel? It hurts. It sucks. But if you're the Nationals, I'm going to explain to you why it makes sense. Yes, Bryce Harper is worth every dollar from a marketing and statistical standpoint in Philadelphia. He is the face of that borough, of that area. He's going to be the face of it for the next 10 years. He's going to be a guy who's going to help them win. And you know what? That sucks if you're a Nationals fan. But you can't sit here and get into a bidding war with Scott Boras. You did it with Steven Strasburg. What'd that do to you? In the middle of a pennant race, you guys decided to shut him down. Max Scherzer is going to be a free agent soon. You're going to have to spend money on him if you want to keep him. You just spent money on Patrick Corbin. You have to find a way to lock up Anthony Rendon and Trey Turner. Oh, and by the way, let's not forget about how great of a year last year Juan Soto had. Washington, say hello to your new right fielder in Juan Soto. And guess what? He's going to hit just as good, average-wise, with probably a little less home runs the first couple of years because he's still a young athlete, as Bryce Harper did in Washington. But now you get the ability to lock up multiple pieces. You get to lock up Trey Turner. You get to lock up Anthony Rendon. You get to re-sign Max Scherzer. You get to try to re-sign Steven Strasburg when he becomes a free agent. You get to, work with guys like Soto. You may be able to get a guy like Victor Robles, who's the number 3 prospect in baseball and one of the fastest kids in the game. You might be able to get him to sign up to an extension early in his career so that you don't have to worry about arbitration and paying these guys oodles and noodles money. It's not the worst thing ever, if you're a Washington Nationals fan, to see Bryce Harper go away. Because now it gives you the ability to stay a contender for multiple years. If you knew in your heart that signing Bryce Harper to a $300, $400 million contract was going to cost you the inability to re-sign Rendon, Turner, Scherzer, Strasburg. 2 of the 4 of them are leaving the minute that contract gets, the ink dries. Are you all in for re-signing Bryce Harper? I can't say that you should have been. If you know that you're going to lose 2 of them for sure the minute that thing gets signed, wait, I can keep all 4 of them? I can let Juan Soto get regular at-bats. I can go to Victor Robles. I could always go trade for an outfielder. Go trade a couple of prospects, not named Victor Robles, to San Diego for Will Myers. They have an expungent of outfielders. He has to go back there after they sign Manny Machado to his 3-year, $300 million contract. There are going to be bodies that are going to become available very quickly. Why not go get them? Why not go make a splash? Yes, Bryce hurts because Bryce was your face of your franchise. Bryce hurts because you groomed him. Bryce hurts because he came up in red, white, and blue, and you thought he was going to be there for his entire career. The fact of the matter is you're still a playoff contender without him. You're still a team that if you can shore up your bullpen, you can shore up the fact that you now have a number 3 starter solidified in Patrick Corbin. This isn't the end of the road because Bryce Harper's playing in Philadelphia. I give the Washington Nationals credit. I give their front office a tip of the cap. They came to Bryce at the beginning of the offseason and said, here is our offer. There is no more. This is our offer. Bryce took it and shopped it. Bryce probably came back to him and said, here's where I'm thinking. And you know what Washington said? Good luck. They did not budge. They did not break. They stayed where they were at. And you know what? At the end of the day, I don't blame them. Because now you have the ability to keep your franchise intact. You have the ability to keep every piece together. You have a chance to build yourself to be a great dynasty. Dynasty. Word not used very often in sports anymore because people leave in free agency. Your opportunity at the dynasty did not die yesterday because Bryce Harper decided to play baseball somewhere else. Your opportunity to become a dynasty expanded because now you have the ability to sign all those guys for an extended period of time. Now, to Manny Machado. Machado, last week, put his pen to paper, decided to become a member of the San Diego Padres. Not say I blame him. The Padres have the best farm system in baseball. They have 5 guys that are probably close to, if not ready to help right now, including Francisco Mejia, Fernando Tatis Jr., and they're probably about another 6 months away from Mackenzie Gore being ready. This team is going to be really, really good. It may not be a playoff team this year because they still have to go against the Dodgers, the Rockies, the Giants. But this team is going to be really good in the next 3 to 5 years. And that's okay. Because Manny's got that opt-out after the 7th year, and that's when things get interesting. So, Manny Machado will now probably be the starting third baseman for the San Diego Padres, which means Fernando Tatis Jr. will be the shortstop inevitably when he comes up, which is fine with me. It's where he should be. Manny should play third base for the Padres. Now, Will Myers goes back to the outfield, which now creates a logjam because you have former Red Sox prospect Manuel Margot, part of the Craig Kimbrell trade. You have Hunter Renfroe, Frenchie Cordero, Will Myers. You have now 6 or 7 guys to play 3 outfield spots. They have an abundance of outfielders. One of them is probably going to get traded to go get them a starting pitcher, and that's okay. They're a team that could go give Dallas Keuchel 3 years, $35 million to be their ace, and guess what? That would be okay. They have the money. They're going to make more money now that Manny Machado's there. They're going to sell more season tickets. They're going to sell more jerseys. Apparel rating is going to go through the fucking roof. They're going to be better now that Manny Machado is there as an organization because now they can put more money into the organization. So the challenge is San Diego, spend the money. Build your team. Make them better. The ball's in your court. Washington, same thing. You missed out on Bryce Harper. Go sign those guys. Re-sign Trey Turner. Re-sign Anthony Rendon. Re-sign Max Scherzer. Go get a bullpen. Make yourself better. That's the challenge in this. And if you're Philadelphia, enjoy Bryce Harper. Don't boo him the first time he strikes out 3 times. Enjoy the fact that you have him for the next 13 years. Take him in. Let him be the face of Philadelphia sports. We'll leave it there because I just got to work and I have to go do some stuff. So, I will be back probably next week to give you a little preview of what's in store for Red Sox baseball. A little preview of the AL East. I'm going to try to go through these over the next month. I'm going to try to do a preview show for each division. I can't do every team because my schedule is too hectic. But I'm going to try to do a preview show for each division, give you the pros and cons of each team, what I think is going to be good, what I think is going to be bad, and go from there. But that's going to wrap up this episode of the Sports Take with Mike the Squid. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. Now, if you don't mind, get the hell on out.